call me one more time? Because I needed to ask you something. Tell me something. Call me at this number. I just gave. Okay, thank you. Okay. Bye.
Hi, this is Dr. Taylor. I'm calling back about Sanaya.
Yeah, hi, Miss Taylor. I was giving my mom the permission to talk. Whatever. I'm gonna hand her the phone.
What? I'm sorry, say that again?
I said my mom wanted to verify about the meconium because, she wanted to hear it for herself. I'll give her permission to talk to you.
Are you okay with her knowing that information?
Yeah, I'm giving her permission to talk to you.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. This is Dr. Taylor. I don't think we've talked before.
Okay, what's your first name?
Laura.
Laura Taylor. Okay, my name is Debbie Williams.
Nice to talk with you.
Hi, Chantel said you called and said the baby meconium test was negative. Is that true?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, so...
So it was negative. It was positive for morphine. But we know that Mom received morphine for pain medication in the hospital, so that's not something that we worry about.
Okay, and what's the name of it again? Did I pronounce it right?
It's called a meconium drug screen, is what it's called.
Okay, and you tested for drugs and it was negative.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Yep, you're very welcome. Do you have any other questions?
What's today's date? Did it come back yesterday or today?
It's the 17th today, and it came back, I think a couple days ago. I'm not sure the exact date when it came back. It was sent to the lab on the 9th.
Oh, June the 19th.
But it was sent on the 9th of June to the lab, but it takes a few days to come back. I don't remember exactly when it comes.
Yeah, hi, Miss Taylor. I was giving my mom the permission to talk. Whatever. I'm gonna hand her the phone.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said my mom wanted to verify about the meconium because, she wanted to hear it for herself. I'll give her permission to talk to you.
Are you okay with her knowing that information?
Yeah, I'm giving her permission to talk to you.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. This is Dr. Taylor. I don't think we've talked before.
Okay, what's your first name?
Laura.
Laura Taylor. Okay, my name is Debbie Williams.
Nice to talk with you.
Hi, Chantel said you called and said the baby meconium test was negative. Is that true?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, so...
Well, it wasn't, so it was negative. It was positive for morphine. But we know that Mom received morphine for pain medication in the hospital, so that's not something that we worry about.
Okay, and what's the name of it again? Did I pronounce it right?
It's called a meconium drug screen, is what it's called.
Okay, and you tested for drugs and it was negative.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Yep, you're very welcome. Do you guys have any other questions?
What's today's date? Did it come back yesterday or today?
It's the 17th today, and it came back, I think a couple days ago. I'm not sure the exact date when it came back. It was sent to the lab on the 9th.
Oh, June the 19th.
It was sent on the 9th of June to the lab, but it takes a few days to come back. I don't remember exactly when it came back.
All right.
All right. That was evidence. Now I would like to talk about a guardianship paper that I received, me and my daughter, on this day here, limited guardianship. Every time I would call the hospital, my first visit was at the hospital, I believe, was let me see. When the baby was born, was May the 3rd. Well, let me see. I know I went out there May the 30th was my first visit.
May 29.
My first visit at the hospital to see my daughter was May the 24th. That was she didn't have a baby yet. And we went and got this notarized at the hospital with the one of the hospital staff notary in the social work department. Strangest thing, she didn't want to notarize it. She came back without the notary, and she didn't put down what county she wrote right in this little area here that she signed a signature, but she does have it here. And this is just giving me the permission or the authority to advocate for her and the baby to receive medical information, and she wanted the baby to be discharged with me. A family member upon the Amabile law, so the baby wouldn't be in foster care, because she told me her baby wouldn't be born drug addicted, because she said she was not using drugs on her pregnancy, abusing drugs. She slipped 1 or 2 times, and that was about it. And so this letter was given to hospital staff. And this is the notary seal letter. So that was that when she was in 9 East. It seemed to be no problem because I didn't ask any questions. And so we gave this same letter here when May the 30th to the hospital staff in the neonatal area, and a couple of days later there was a problem, a very bad problem. She was being harassed terribly. I guess the hospital social worker, excuse me, my voice and everything is hoarse. The hospital social worker must have got in contact with Child Protective Services, and so that letter, I'm assuming, I don't know, but it could have been the hospital itself that was really on her bad about this letter. And there's another one, so she did another one. And she did this 6/15 because they said that they didn't like the writing in the first one. So she did this one. Notarized letter. And she handed to a Stephanie Jones. This was a nurse. She didn't say anything to the, telling her any comments, but could you please hand this letter over to the social worker for her? And the lady said, okay. Then she also handed the same day, she handed this over to them. And I'll explain it. Why you may read it and say, well, why did she say there was false allegations and duress? She felt pressured that when she gave the first letter to the neonatal floor on 8 West, and that was the letter that you seen earlier, you all seen earlier, this states the 24th. This one here, this letter right here, I'm sorry. That's the first letter. She was being harassed terribly. on June the 20th, either say it was June the 20th or June the 19th, they had her up there crying. I always not pronounce the word right, but interrogated her. They had security up there. He was reading her files, calling her a drug addict. I won't say the word. Saying that, a whole bunch of other stuff. Saying that the grandmother had came up there and threatened or harassed staff, and I didn't do that. I also heard, because I was on the phone when she called them, she said that, I heard them say that I couldn't come back up to the hospital, and I don't know anything that I'd done to anybody. Nothing. Besides politely ask staff to wash their hands before they go in the incubator instead of using the alcohol sanitizer. I said the alcohol sanitizer was okay to use if they was working outside the incubator, like with the monitors. And that was it. And I know one staff asked me, why do you want me to wash my hand? And I said, I'd rather not comment. I just would like for you to wash your hands. We both adults. And if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't ask family member that. I would just do it, And then when this letter was given on the 15th, my daughter giving it to Stephanie, the nurse there, because of this here. She said they had forced her to sign this form here. And my daughter said she didn't want to sign it. She had already given them a letter, the power of attorney letter that was signed May the 24th, 2012. And that wasn't good enough for them. Because Chantella stated that when she was, ready to go into treatment and stuff, she wanted me to be able to ask questions, get the baby's medical record for the baby to be discharged with me, because she stayed, she knew that she couldn't take the baby home because they took other children from her. But she didn't want this baby in foster care. And so that's why she signed the paper for the dual power of attorney, notarized, because it was notarized, and we thought it was legal to get medical paperwork. And let me kind of get these other names out of here. I'll show people that. And this here is the stuff at the bottom of the letter. And then right here you see that she have my name and two other people names there. And this would only restrict me. That would have gave me restrictions only to get verbal communication with them. And my daughter wanted me to have more than that. So the hospital social worker said that she had to go get legal guardianship. You will hear earlier a doctor, I'll put it on in a little while, stating that she would have to go before a judge. So the social worker said we had to go get guardianship. So you see, this letter was dated on the 15th. Nurses and all wouldn't give my daughter any information, or when I called to say how is the baby, they still wouldn't give me any information with the medical durable power of attorney. So on this day, on a Monday, we went down to Wayne County Probate Court where she live at. She don't live in Wayne County, so she didn't go there. I'm sorry, she don't live in Washtenaw County. So she didn't go to their probate court. Went to Wayne County because the hospital staff said we had to get legal and go before a judge and or to a courthouse or whatever. So that's what we tried to do because they said so. So this is the paperwork I'll show you here that my daughter filed before she got the letter. The lady gave us a copy. And the secretary, paralegal, worked for the judge. She had asked my daughter. My mind was somewhere else as well, but I didn't hear everything, but I know my daughter said she had asked her, did CPS was involved in any kind of way? And my daughter said no. And I asked my daughter, why did she say no? After all of this stuff had went down with CPS calling saying she fraudulently made a guardianship for me. My daughter said because she never had to stand before a judge in Washtenaw County or Wayne County, and no one had jurisdiction over the case, no judge order. And I felt, the same way because I didn't have much knowledge, but besides the social worker in the hospital telling us you have to get legal guardianship to even ask questions about the baby or for the baby to be discharged. So it was filed on June 4, 2012, Wayne County Probate Court. And then information there, my name on it, my daughter's information. We made a mistake. When my daughter asked me what day it was, I thought it was June the 5th, but it was really June the 4th. So you may see a date, say June 5th, but the court put the correct date on there. And this part of the letter states, it says here, the reason I want a limited guardianship is we wanted full guardianship, but they said you had to start off with limited guardianship. So it said I need to improve my parenting skills. That's what my daughter put on there. It's dated there. Okay. It asks about visitation. Where it say visit and contact with my child will be sufficient to maintain my parent and child relationship and will be followed. Relationship as will be as followed. My daughter never put down in the box, I will visit my child, because she knew that the court did not want her to visit the baby. It states here, telephone contact will take place weekly. Letters will be sent monthly. Nothing about visitation. So I don't see how they said it was a fraudulent, because she didn't lie about when CPS said fraudulent, and James Kincaid and Julie Session, the prosecutor. Then here it states here, read that. Financial support will be made, that's what that says there, will be made by the following. It says, I will provide food for my child as following. She could provide food without coming to the home. Family members can pick it up from wherever she's at. And then it said, my plan is for the limited guardianship to continue until, that's right there, I am able to provide a drug-free household. I have successfully completed drugs and alcohol, inpatient, outpatient treatment. And then down here, she marked other, full guardianship until she turned 18 if I don't complete my sobriety. And she meant that she wanted me, I'm the grandmother, to have full guardianship until she turns 18. She said, if I don't complete sobriety. She never stated she wanted the full guardianship. And that's the information here. So, you know, we're not educated about, even though I do have a bachelor's degree, but I'm not totally educated about how these procedures go and what come first and all that stuff. Only thing I know that my daughter and I never had to stand before a court, a judge, and a judge made any kind of court order or agreements or disagreements. That never happened. So we thought we was in our rights to file guardianship. Now, why my daughter told the lady again when she asked her at Wayne County, did CPS have any involvements? I wasn't there when the CPS worker came to, the first time he came to the hospital to talk to my daughter. That was May the 30th. Only thing I know, he talked briefly to me until my phone hung up because I was at the Amtrak station, and he said that my daughter said that she wanted me to have guardianship and he wanted my address or whatever. And then the phone hung up and I tried to call back and I couldn't get him back. I also videoed that because I was at the train station. And the man, my daughter said, his name is Ronnie Lee, Wayne County, Ronnie, R-O-N-N-I-E, Ronnie Lee from Washtenaw County Child Protective Service Agency. He had stated to my daughter, because the phone hung up, and stated that he will get back in contact with me. He didn't contact me right away. It was like almost 3 weeks or so, or the following end of the month. I have it somewhere, the day he called back. But he only asked me for my address and stated, that my daughter wanted me to have guardianship. And I told him I was going to tape him. And so I put on the tape, and because when he first initially said it, I wasn't able to tape that. But then I taped him, and I told him that I will not allow my daughter to see the baby without permission from the court and CPS. And she wanted me to have guardianship. But that was before June 18, 2012, that I talked to him. It might have been I believe it could have been June the 14th. I'm not sure. June 14, 2012. You know, and these papers after the, you know, after the 18th on June 19th, this was faxed to U of M. Here's the U of M fax number, and where I faxed it out to them. This was the letter of guardianship, because that's what they act like they wanted, you know, and told us to go do, because they couldn't give me no information or anything with the durable power of attorney. And then the next fax sheet went over to Washtenaw County. Here it is, to the administrative fax number. Went right over there to them from FedEx. I sent it over, letting them know that I had received it. Guardianship, but they said it's fraudulent. How is something fraudulent if I fax it over to you the next day or two? If it was fraudulent, I wouldn't even never said anything about it. We only went there because we was pressured by the hospital and the staff, social work, and some of the nurses, that they couldn't even use the dual power of attorney because they felt like they said it wasn't sufficient enough. And this is, and here's the people that my daughter gave the letter to. Nine West. This the first letter went to this person here, and to the chief also. It went to another letter here. It went to the chief register nurse. Her name is Barb, and that's her last name. And that was 5/30/12 when it went to her. My daughter and I gave them this information. And it just wasn't good enough for the people. She put the wrong year. She put 5/30/2000. 5/30/21/00, and that was supposed to be a 1 to it. The lady put the wrong year. So their signature stuff went to them. Here's another person. This was on the floor, labor and delivery area. And Deborah Cunningham. It went to her on the 26th. The letter was made out on the 24th. Went to her on the 26th. And again, this is the neonatal floor when her baby was delivered. Preemie. And again, my daughter made a recent letter for the 15th because the one for the 24th wasn't good enough for them, and